Disclaimer: this story is a work of fiction. Any resemblance to real persons or events is purely coincidental. The purpose of this story is entertainment and emotional storytelling only. Welcome to Golden Storytime, where every story touches your heart. Today's story is about love, distance, and the power of memories. A story that proves true love never fades, even when time does. Part 1: The Beginning of Love. Aarav was a quiet boy from a small town. Every morning, he took the same bus to college, sitting near the window, not because of the view, but because she always sat 2 seats ahead. Mira. She was full of life, laughing with friends, her eyes sparkling like sunlight on water. Aarav never had the courage to talk to her, until one day, her diary fell on the bus floor. When Aarav picked it up, he found a note inside. One day, I want to meet someone who writes letters, not texts. That's where their story began. Part 2: The Letters. Aarav started writing anonymous letters and leaving them inside her bag, words filled with poetry, emotions, and dreams. Mira didn't know who he was, but each letter made her heart skip a beat. She replied with her own letters, and soon 2 souls started talking through paper and ink. Their letters became their world. Their love had no name, no face, just feelings. Part 3: The Separation. One day, Mira stopped coming to college. Days turned into weeks, and Aarav's bus rides turned empty. He kept writing letters, but they remained unanswered, and a small note aired. A year later, Aarav received a package. Inside were all his letters, unopened, and a small note. Aarav, I'm sorry. I had to move away for my health, but your letters made my heart live longer. She was gone. Forever. Part 4. Years later. 10 years passed. Aarav became a writer. His first book was titled Letters of the Heart. During a book signing, an old man approached him. He handed him a worn-out diary. Mira's diary. The old man said, she told me, if you ever publish your letters, give this back to you. Aarav opened the last page and read, if there's another life, I hope we meet where letters never end. Tears filled his eyes, because even in death, Mira had kept her promise. Aarav was a quiet boy from a small town. Every morning, he took the same bus to college, sitting near the window, not because of the view, but because she always sat 2 seats ahead Mira. She was the sunbeam that cut through his otherwise gray days. He noticed everything about her. The way she tucked a stray strand of hair behind her ear, the books she carried, the quiet smile that played on her lips as she read. But Aarav was shy, a creature of observation, not action. He lived in a world of what-ifs, painting conversations in his mind that he never dared to speak aloud. One rainy morning, the bus jolted, and Mira's book slipped from her hands, landing near Aarav's feet. His heart hammered against his ribs. This was his chance, a moment scripted by fate itself. He picked up the book, its cover worn and familiar. As he handed it back to her, their fingers brushed for a fleeting second. Thank you, she said, her voice softer than he'd imagined. Aarav could only manage a nod. His own voice caught in his throat. He returned to his seat, his mind replaying that single touch, that single thank you. He felt a pang of regret for his silence. He wanted to say more, to tell her he'd read that same book, that he loved the author's way with words. The next day, emboldened by a strange new courage, he wrote a short note on a piece of paper, folded it neatly, and as he got off the bus, he slipped it into the pages of the book she'd left on her seat. It was a simple note. The ending of that book always makes me think about second chances. I hope you enjoy it." He didn't sign his name. To his astonishment, the next morning, there was a note waiting for him on his usual seat. It read, "Second chances are what make stories worth reading and living." And so it began. They became pen pals on a moving bus, exchanging notes filled with thoughts on books, dreams, and the small wonders of life. They never spoke, but their letters built a bridge between their two silent worlds. Aarav learned that Mira dreamed of traveling, of seeing the world beyond their small town. He wrote about his passion for painting, for capturing moments in color and light. Through their anonymous letters, they bared their souls. In a world of instant messages and fleeting digital interactions, their handwritten words held a permanence, a weight that felt more real than any conversation could. They were falling in love, not with faces or appearances, but with minds and hearts, with the raw, unfiltered honesty they found in ink. For Aarav, Mira was no longer just a girl on the bus. She was a universe of thoughts and feelings he was privileged to explore. He had found a connection so profound that it transcended the need for spoken words. The end of the college year approached, casting a shadow over their secret correspondence. One day, Aarav found a different kind of note from Mira. It explained that her family was moving away after graduation. Her father had a new job in a city hundreds of miles away. The news hit Aarav like a physical blow. The world he had so carefully built with her was about to crumble. In his final letter, he poured out his heart, finally confessing the depth of his feelings and asking if they could meet, just once, before she left. He signed it with his name, Aarav. He waited with bated breath the next morning, but Mira's seat was empty. And the next day, it was empty again. Despair began to set in. Had he been too bold? Had he scared her away? Days turned into a week, and the bus rides became a painful reminder of her absence. The vibrant colors of his world faded back to gray. He thought their story had ended before it even had a chance to truly begin, a story of near misses and unspoken goodbyes. Years passed. Aarav finished college and became an artist, his paintings often echoing the bittersweet melancholy of his memories with Mira. He traveled, but not with the joy he had once imagined. He was searching for something or someone he knew he might never find. He held on to her letters, rereading them until the ink faded and the paper softened with time. They were relics of a love that felt both intensely real and like a dream he'd once had. One day, while visiting an old library in a forgotten corner of a new city, he felt an inexplicable pull toward a specific aisle. There, on a shelf, was a familiar, worn book, the very same one that had started it all. He picked it up, a wave of nostalgia washing over him. As he opened the cover, a single, aged piece of paper fluttered out. His hands trembled as he unfolded it. The handwriting was hers, unmistakable. The note was dated just after she had disappeared. It read, "Aarav, my family had to leave earlier than I expected. I didn't get a chance to say goodbye. I came to the bus stop every day for a week, hoping to see you. I'm leaving this here, in the book that brought us together, in the hopes that fate might give us our second chance. I am in the city with the clock tower that never stops. Find me there." Aarav's heart stopped. He looked up, his eyes scanning the library, and through the large arched window, he saw Ita Grand, old clock tower standing tall against the skyline. He had been in the city for months, without ever truly seeing it. With the note clutched in his hand, he ran. He ran through the streets, his heart pounding not with anxiety, but with a hope he thought he had lost forever. He found her in the square beneath the clock tower, sketching in a notepad, a few strands of hair escaping, just as he remembered. She looked up as he approached, her eyes widening in recognition. No words were needed. In that moment, the years of separation melted away. The boy who was too shy to speak, and the girl who wrote of faraway dreams, had finally found their way back to each other. Their story reminds us that true connection isn't always about what we see or say. It's about the feelings we share, the words we write, and the faith we hold on to. In a world that moves so fast, sometimes the most profound love stories are the ones written slowly, with patience and heart. They prove that some bonds are so strong that not even time or distance can break them. Love, in its purest form, doesn't need a lifetime to be called forever. It just needs to be true. Thank you so much for watching and sharing this moment with us. If this story touched your heart, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more stories that celebrate the power of human connection. We'll see you in the next one.